So I have a question, and maybe it's a question that doesn't require an answer, but I'll ask it anyways. What do you do with your emotions when you feel as though life has just dealt you all, for the most part, unfair cards? When you feel as though the cards get shuffled, it keeps getting shuffled in the game or in the deck, but somehow you keep landing on cards that will get you nowhere, on cards that will cause you to lose the game. And it seems almost easier to just quit the goddamn game than to keep pushing and hoping that luck will land you better cards next time. Society has a way of reminding us that resilience is necessary in this lifetime, and for you to have a meaningful, successful, and fulfilling life, you have to have a level of resilience to you. You have to have some grit, some fire in your spirit. And if society doesn't remind you, I think just getting up every day and understanding that you still have your responsibilities as a adult human being, and despite yesterday's failures, you still have to somehow find a way to get through today to ensure that there is a tomorrow for you. If you have a family, to make sure that you're providing for your family, you're doing what needs to be done. So that dictates that you push back against the grain, no matter how hard it is, no matter what yesterday's failures were. I celebrated my 49th birthday 5 days ago, and there's a lot of introspection that happened on that day. I thought about my life as being a corridor that I was walking down, or that I've walked down. And along this corridor, I saw many doors. I saw windows of opportunity. I saw doors that were slammed shut, that could never be reopened. I saw moments of joy, of fulfillment, of content. But then I also saw pain. Some of it caused by bad planning, bad decisions, bad choices, not effectively planning, just recklessness. And I do take accountability for the things that I've done that somehow derailed me from probably getting to my end goal. That would then cancel the reason for me making this video today. But I also understand, and I saw where if I were to stack up my wins against what seems to be my failures, what I view as my near misses, failures, whatever, the happy times does not equate to the sad times or the moments of just failures. I think about my life as a mother, my responsibilities, my duties to a son that has ADHD, that wrestles with mood swings and all those other things. And he's a minor, so I have to help him navigate his path. I think about my desire to sing ever since I was a young girl. It always feeds my spirit. And the fact that I tried. Did I try hard enough? Maybe not. Did I exhaust every means and opportunity that probably presented itself? Maybe not. But at the same time, I believe I did the best that I could given the circumstances. But despite my best, just wasn't good enough. So I'm here unfulfilled in that respect, and feeling lost about that, feeling sad about that, because it's truly what my passion is, music. I think about my profession as a nurse, and most of my nursing has been ER nursing, and it's a specialty that, although it was rewarding, it left me exhausted on empty. And then I transitioned to hospice nursing, complete polar opposite. Because one, you're trying to stabilize, one, you're trying to just somehow help individuals close that last chapter of their life. And I think for me, hospice has been the most rewarding. And although it's heavy work, it's work that emotionally requires you to be present. And it is work that requires you to share your spirit and your soul, because you somehow take on the pain of the patients you serve. No matter how much you say you're not going to, there's no way you're human and you don't. So doing hospice home care, I've encountered many patients, and not everyone is a senior citizen. So not everyone is, elderly, frail person. Some people are in their 40s, like myself, 50s, early 60s. And yet this is their final chapter. And if you know anything about hospice, in hospice, usually to be placed on hospice, you're given a prognosis of 6 months to live or less. And I try not to ask the questions about how they feel regarding that. I try to just do what I can to make sure the moments that they're still here are special. Because maybe I don't want to know the answer, so I don't ask. But one of the lessons that I think doing hospice home care has taught me is the value of time. That is the most precious commodity you have, and that you don't always get do-overs. You know how people can say, well, you failed yesterday, you can start again tomorrow. Sometimes there are no tomorrows. So you have to make today the best opportunity to make a change that you can. You have to make sure today you land that contract, or today you land that, you finalize that project, or today you just have to make every moment count, and not just wait on tomorrow being the day to start again. Sure, there are times when you have to reassess, you have to reposition, you have to realign, you have to do all these different strategies to just gain a win. And if that's the case, then you do what you must. But what I'm saying is that for me, although I feel very, very down, and I feel, my spirit is heavy, but I'm also inspired. And this is where, although hospice gets to be sometimes just a very emotionally taxing type of specialty, I also am grateful that I got a chance to serve in this specialty, because it's truly taught me the importance of time and how fragile it is. And I don't want to sound like it's all doom and gloom, but you have to sometimes just put things into perspective. So you have to just see yourself as, I'm not invincible. Death awaits us all. Some sooner, some later. But inevitably, we're all going to get there. So while you're here, you just try to make the most of what it is. And just doing this type of work is what has propelled me, or has given me fuel to keep pushing despite my failures, despite me feeling as though life has been just kicking me and kicking me and kicking me. I'm just encouraged, because I know that what I have, most of my patients don't get, is a chance to rebrand, to reposition, to restart, to readjust, to realign, to refocus, to plan a little bit better. And maybe, just maybe, I'll execute. So, yeah, my name is Marita. I am a mother. I am a cancer survivor. I have seizures. They're not very often, but they do happen. And when they happen, they're wild. I am a singer. And I think I should have started with that, or maybe that should have been second. I do more reggae, roots reggae. That's my soul, that's my passion. Yeah, and I did YouTube. I've done YouTube. My content has been mostly dealing with thyroid health because my cancer was thyroid cancer. But then I realized that I wasn't capturing the essence of who I am, because I'm so much more than just the story behind my cancer survival or any of that. So I guess I'll answer my own question now. What do you do with all those emotions? When you just feel like you're just swaying in the wind, when you feel like you haven't lived your purpose, you haven't even found your purpose, and you're not living up to your truest potential. Well, maybe you search real deep to find your purpose, or maybe you just allow life to come to you. But then that'll be more or less what I have been doing. So for me, I've decided that I'm just going to channel all of this into truly making sure every day counts for something. Sure, I have big dreams, I have plans, I have things that I need to accomplish that will change the trajectory of my life, but at the same time, I'm not over planning anything. One day at a time, because I'm constantly being reminded that life is precious. And on this channel, I plan to just live my life. I've always lived my life on my own terms anyways, to be honest with you. I can't even lie and say I don't, because I'm very much a rebel spirit. But this 49 kind of hit different. So the day I turned 49, I was on a ship. And I thought about one of my patients who passed. And I thought about him because we shared the same birthday. Not the year, but the same day and month. And as I remembered him, I remembered when I met him and how much of me I saw in him, of his spirit. And I was like, oh, so that's why I move the way I do. That's why I flow the way I do. Because he was so me. He died at 61. And as I thought about him on that day, I celebrated for both of us. And I remember asking him, this is where I connected. I remember asking him, because at one point, his story was a little bit, it's a little bit of a history there. So he came into hospice, and then he didn't like just the disposition, or he didn't like the prognosis of what he was being told. So he just went off hospital. I knew he would be back just based off his diagnosis. I knew he would be back. And he did, and he requested me again. And then when I saw him the second time, he was very, very sick. This was maybe in a month or so. And although he was sick and he was becoming more confused, but he remembered me. And I remember asking him, so, what's your birthday again? Because I was trying to test his orientation, And he said, you know what day it is? The same as yours. And then he said, and then I asked him, and how do you feel today? And he said, I feel like I'm still too young to die. And yeah. Anyhow, I scattered flowers for him overboard. I was on the ship, as I said, and I scattered flowers in his memory. And I truly wish that he sleeps in peace. Because he reminded me of me. He just had a fighter spirit, And yeah. Anyhow, this is not supposed to be a place where it's sad. I'm not a sad person. I think it's just a revelation of where I'm at, and that I have to start again. I have to keep pushing despite my failures, and yeah, this channel is called Cease for Purpose for a reason, because I'm still on the path to finding my purpose, and I believe I will. So I ask that you join me if you're that person who just, you feel like you have been at the bottom for way too long and you're trying to find your way back, and you feel as though there's still a fight within you, there's still a resilience that lives inside your spirit, because sometimes it gets exhausting. Let's be for real. Always being told, start over, you can do it, this, that. You just want to say, listen, go F yourself. I don't believe in that shit. But then what are the alternatives though? Throw in the towel and sink to the bottom? I don't think that's an option that's viable, at least not for me. So I gotta keep pushing. And as my channel, if it grows, if it picks up, I'll talk more about what I'm referencing in this story. But I'm gonna leave it here, guys. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel if anything resonated with you. And I mean, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I understand that too. Respect on that. My name is Marita again, and yeah, peace. Bye.